What about what's in /user/bin? That's another directory that I know of. ls/user/bin. Oops, I could spell it right. And now that's got a whole bunch of stuff in it. Let's choose one. Let's choose the program called zdiff, or zdiff if you're North American. Can I run the program called zdiff? And I get command not found. So I say, alright, well I might want to modify my path command, my path variable, such that it includes bin followed by /user/bin. And now I try and run zdiff, and I find that it does in fact find the program, but I haven't started it correctly. But that's not the point. The point is that I found the program. So you can see that I'm actually building up a useful path here. And in fact what you'll probably find is when you log into your Unix system that there will be just 2 or 3 directories in the path. You'll almost always find /bin and /user/bin, and you might find something called /user/local/bin, which would be executable programs developed by your company and made available to the users in your company. At least that's what it's supposed to be in /user/local/bin. But the whole point of the path variable is that you can set it to be whatever you want. You might have your own set of programs that you know about that you would like to have access to as well. Now, you can always obviously go into the directory using cd where those programs are and run the programs from that directory. Alternatively, you don't need to go there, you can just type in the full path name of the program that you wish to start. Like you could type in /user/bin/zdiff and that would always work. But the whole point of the path variable is that you don't have to do that. The path variable is all about convenience. So you can add the directory that contains the programs that you wish to execute to your path variable, either at the beginning or at the end. Now, here's the clever part. What a lot of people do is that they create a directory in their home directory or somewhere suitable that contains a bunch of little programs and shell scripts that they write for themselves. This is, of course, if you know how to create programs. Shell scripts are actually reasonably simple to create. Now, I have done exactly that. I have a directory in my home directory called bin. You can see it there in the top of the ls listing. I'm going to cd into bin, and I'll have a look at what's in there. I just have 4 little files called C, L, LC, and LS. So let's have a look at one of them. Let's have a look at what's in L. L is just /bin/ls minus L capital A minus color $. Whatever that means, let's see what it does if I try and run it. Now, is this going to work? I type in L. Command not found. Now, why would the command be not found? Well, typically commands are not found because the shell has looked through all the directories in the path and has not found an executable file called L. But there is an executable file called L right here. So I might say to myself, well, I would like to have the current directory being part of my path. And I think, well, that's easy enough. I can say path equals $path, like that. And then I can type in L, and it actually does something this time. It's sort of a ls-a option. So I pretend to myself that everything's fine, and I cd into another directory, into say the course directory, and I try and run the L program from here, and I get command not found again. Now why would that be? And I look in the path and I say, surely the directory that I want is in there. And it's just looking in the current directory or /bin or /user/bin. So I go, oh gosh, I forgot to put in my actual bin directory. All I've put in is dot, which will mean it will look in the current directory, but it won't look in the bin directory if I'm anywhere else. So then I add to the beginning of my path the directory /home/mvirtue/bin, and then a colon, and then the rest of the path, whatever it was. And now I type in L to see if it works, and yes, it does. As you can see, it's a kind of a color-coded version of ls minus L. So what I've shown you there is a very clever little technique that a lot of experienced Unix people actually do. They create for themselves a little directory that contains a whole series of little programs they've written for themselves, and then they take that directory and they put that directory into their path so that they can then access those little programs from anywhere. It's very handy to be able to do that, and I suggest that if that's the sort of thing that you like to do, that you try and get that working in your own shell account.